You lose arguments, not because you are wrong, but because you react. Every time you become angry, offended or anxious, someone else gains control over you. They press a button, and you respond, just as they intended. Today, we end that weakness. This is how to stop being emotional and start being powerful. Understand this: I am not here to teach you kindness. I am here to teach you control. Emotion is the enemy of control. For centuries, those who ruled the world, emperors, generals, manipulators, all mastered one art above all others: the art of appearing human without becoming a slave to emotion. The man who acts from anger is no different from the beast that bites its own tail. Rage blinds him, fear cages him. The clever use this to their advantage. They provoke, they flatter, they mislead, and while you drown in feeling, they calculate. To win in this world, you must stop reacting and start observing. In chaos, the calm man is king. When others panic, his silence becomes his power. His patience, a weapon sharper than any blade. People trust the man who appears unshaken, and they mistake his restraint for wisdom. Use this illusion. It will open doors that brute emotion could never break. But understand this too: compassion is not to be discarded. It is to be worn like a mask. Mercy, empathy, kindness, all have their place, but only as tools, not command. Show mercy when it serves you. Smile when it wins you allies. But when kindness threatens your purpose, bury it. A wise man knows when to act warm and when to act cold, because both are strategies, not impulses. Discipline is freedom. The fool believes that freedom means doing whatever he feels. The wise man knows true freedom is ruling what he feels. Every time you master your anger, ignore an insult or tame your fear, you build invisible armor, the kind no one can pierce. You cannot control the world, but you can control yourself, and that in the end is the only kingdom worth ruling. So stop being emotional, not because emotion is evil, but because power demands clarity. You are not here to feel better. You are here to become untouchable. The world belongs not to those who feel the most, but to those who can feel and do not flinch. They tell you to follow your heart, but the heart is a traitor. It pulls you where your reason would never go. Emotion whispers comfort, but its comfort is poison. It numbs your discipline, blinds your strategy, and enslaves your judgment. Every downfall in history, every ruined empire, every shattered reputation, it all began with a moment of emotion. Anger, fear, greed, love. These are not signs of life. They are the cracks in your armor through which others will enter. The man who cannot control his emotions will always be controlled by someone who can. Think about it. The moment you get angry, you've already lost. You become predictable. Your opponent knows exactly what to say to make you react. They watch your face redden, your tone rise, your logic vanish. You believe you're fighting back, but in truth, you're being played. The manipulator's greatest weapon isn't strength, it's patience. They let your emotion expose your weakness, and then they strike. That's why those who rule others never show their feelings easily. They may feel, yes, but they never reveal. To remain calm when others lose control is to hold the upper hand in every battle, whether in conversation, negotiation, or life itself. Emotion clouds the mind like smoke in a room. When you're angry, you can't see clearly. When you're afraid, you imagine danger that doesn't exist. When you're in love, you overlook flaws that will later destroy you. The mind under emotion does not think. It obeys impulse, and impulse is the enemy of control. If you wish to rise above others, you must first rise above yourself. You must learn to step outside of your feelings and observe them as if they belong to someone else. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this? What triggered it? What does this emotion want me to do? Once you can answer that, you are no longer a slave to it. You have turned emotion into data, something to be studied, not obeyed. The powerful know this secret. They don't fight emotion, they weaponize it. They understand that people act not from reason, but from feeling. And so they learn to control the feelings of others, while remaining unmoved themselves. They can make a crowd cheer or riot, with a single word, because they know which emotional strings to pull. But here's the truth most people never grasp. You cannot manipulate the emotions of others if you cannot master your own. The man who breaks under pressure will never bend others to his will. The woman who reacts out of fear will never inspire it in her rivals. Self-control is not just virtue, it is leverage. You see, emotion tempts you to act quickly. It whispers, do something now. It makes patience feel like weakness. But haste is the fool's momentum. Every impulsive move, every emotional decision, carries a cost you do not see until it's too late. History remembers those who stayed calm when everyone else panicked. When others fled in fear, they stood still. When others spoke in anger, they stayed silent. That silence wasn't hesitation, it was calculation. Emotion wants immediacy. Power demands precision. Watch how emotion spreads. It's contagious. One angry person infects another. One fearful thought becomes panic. Emotion turns crowds into mobs. But detachment, real detachment, is immunity. When you refuse to absorb the emotions around you, you become untouchable. People will test you, provoke you, push you, trying to make you reveal what moves you. Never show them. The more they try, the more your calm will unsettle them. In a world that feeds on reaction, indifference is dominance. And yet, this isn't about becoming cold or robotic. It's about becoming strategic. You can still feel, but you must never let feeling dictate action. Emotions are like storms. They pass. You are the sky, vast, still, unaffected. You cannot stop the storm, but you can refuse to be carried by it. The next time someone tries to provoke you, do not answer immediately. Observe. Delay. Let the wave rise and fall without moving you. You will notice something extraordinary. When you do not react, the situation loses its power. The manipulator grows frustrated. The aggressor feels uncertain. The crowd loses its spark. The power they sought to take from you collapses back into your hand. In private moments, when emotion tempts you to act, to send the angry message, to chase what is gone, to argue just to be right, pause. Ask yourself, who benefits from this reaction? Is it me or the one who provoked me? Emotion makes you believe that expression equals strength, but restraint is far stronger. Silence can wound deeper than any insult. Composure can intimidate more than any threat. To rule yourself is to rule the world that tries to rule you. The man who keeps his emotions in check does not need to raise his voice to command respect. His calm becomes authority. His restraint becomes power. When others lose their temper, they reveal their weakness. When you keep yours, you reveal their dependence on your reaction. Remember, emotion is a doorway, and control is the lock. Whoever holds that lock holds the advantage, and it should always be you. When chaos erupts, when voices rise, when the world trembles with panic and confusion, look closely. The one who remains calm silently becomes the most powerful person in the room. You can see it everywhere, in history, in business, in war, even in everyday life. People lose their composure, they scramble, they shout, they break under pressure. But the one who stands still, who breathes slow, who speaks with control, that is the person everyone starts to look toward for direction. Calmness is not weakness, it is command. It is the invisible crown that separates leaders from followers, the wise from the impulsive, and the powerful from the desperate. The calm person does not need to prove himself through volume or rage. His control speaks louder than emotion ever could. When others argue, he observes. When others rush, he waits. When others lose control, he gains it. In moments of crisis, people instinctively seek stability, and stability lives in calmness. That's why the composed are always obeyed. They become the anchor in the storm, not because they are stronger, but because they appear unshaken. Calmness is not just a feeling, it is a signal. It tells others, I am not threatened, I am in control, and that message alone can turn the tide of any situation in your favor. Understand this, panic is contagious, but so is poise. The man who keeps his voice steady and his movements deliberate changes the emotional temperature of everyone around him. He slows down time without saying a word. His composure infects others, and suddenly, what was chaos becomes order. The calm are dangerous for this reason. They cannot be manipulated. The world thrives on reaction. It provokes, it agitates, it feeds on emotional energy. But when you stay calm, you refuse to feed the beast. You take away its power. The agitator expects anger, you give silence. They expect fear, you give stillness. They expect confusion, you give clarity. It disarms them. It makes them uncertain, and uncertainty in the hands of the calm becomes control. Calmness is not natural, it is cultivated. It takes training to remain still when your instincts scream to act. It takes strength to pause when every nerve urges you to respond. But the reward is absolute power over yourself and influence over others. When others are emotional, they are predictable. Their patterns are visible. Their weaknesses surface. But the calm person can see through it all. He becomes like a chess player watching his opponent rage at the board, knowing that anger will lead to mistakes. Every rash decision made in emotion becomes an opportunity for the one who stays composed. Think of how people behave under pressure. The deal that falls apart because someone panicked. The argument that escalates because someone shouted. The friendship broken because someone reacted too quickly. Most damage is not done by circumstance, but by emotion. And most victories are not won by strength, but by stillness. The person who stays calm holds the ability to make better decisions, while others burn their logic in the fire of their feelings. This is the essence of power, not to dominate through aggression, but to dominate through composure. Calmness also commands respect. People may fear anger, but they respect calm. Anger demands attention. Calm naturally draws it. When you enter a room with quiet confidence, when you speak without haste, when you do not rush to prove yourself, people sense something different. They cannot read you. You become unpredictable, and unpredictability is power. The loudest man in the room may win attention, but the calm one wins authority. The louder you shout, the more desperate you look. The quieter you stay, the more people listen when you finally speak. Do not confuse calmness with passivity. Calmness is not the absence of reaction. It is the mastery of it. It is knowing exactly when to act and when not to. The calm person is not asleep. He is calculating. He waits, not because he is afraid, but because he knows that emotion-driven movement leads to self-destruction. Every decision he makes is deliberate, every word chosen, every silence meaningful. While others act from impulse, he acts from understanding. That is why calmness is power, because it creates space between stimulus and response, between chaos and choice. In that space, clarity is born, and clarity always wins. In moments of confrontation, calmness is the most unsettling weapon. People expect emotion. They prepare for reaction. When you give them none, they begin to question themselves. They lose confidence. They wonder if you know something they don't. Your silence becomes a mirror, reflecting their insecurity. You take control of the rhythm of interaction without force, without noise, without visible effort. The one who controls the rhythm controls the outcome. Look at history's greatest leaders and strategists. They were not the ones who shouted the loudest or reacted the fastest. They were the ones who remained composed when others fell apart. They understood that emotion narrows vision, but calmness expands it. In crisis, while others see only the immediate danger, the calm see the entire field, the players, the timing, the leverage. They act from perspective, not panic. That perspective is what allows them to move precisely, to strike effectively, and to recover quickly. Calmness also makes you emotionally invincible. Insults lose their sting when you refuse to react. Manipulation fails when you refuse to play the emotional game. The calm mind cannot be easily provoked, and that makes it untouchable. You become the master of every exchange, because no one can pull you into their storm. They will try through anger, guilt, fear, mockery, but the moment you respond with emotion, you surrender the crown. Keep your face unreadable, your tone steady, your movements intentional. You do not need to match their energy. Let them waste theirs trying to break yours. The calm win not by confrontation, but by endurance. Power belongs to the calm, because the calm can see what others cannot. They think while others feel. They plan while others react. They move when the time is right, not when emotion demands it. And in a world ruled by noise and haste, composure becomes the rarest and most feared form of strength. People will tell you that compassion is the highest virtue, that kindness is the purest form of strength, that empathy is what makes us human. And they're not wrong, but they are incomplete. Compassion is powerful, yes, but only when you control it. The moment it controls you, it becomes a weapon in the hands of others. You see, people don't always appeal to your logic. They appeal to your heart. They know how to make you feel guilty, how to make you soften, how to make you forget your own interests in the name of goodness. But in a world built on manipulation and survival, blind compassion is not a virtue. It is a liability. The wise understand this truth. They show empathy when it serves them. They offer kindness when it gains them ground. And they withdraw both when they become tools against them. Compassion has its place, but its place is strategic. You must wear it like a mask, visible, convincing and useful. People trust kindness. They open themselves to it. When you show compassion, they lower their guard. But the mistake most make is believing that compassion must always be real to be effective. In truth, perception is what matters. The powerful have always known how to look kind without being ruled by kindness. They smile, they console, they promise understanding. But inside they are measuring, calculating, deciding what this display of empathy will earn them. It is not cruelty, it is control. If you are compassionate to everyone, you are valuable to no one, because your compassion becomes expected, not respected. When you show endless mercy, people stop fearing your judgment. When you forgive without consequence, they learn they can betray you without cost. When you help everyone, even those who drain your time and energy, you become their servant disguised as a savior. Real power requires boundaries, and compassion without boundaries is surrender. You must know when to act with softness, and when to turn to stone. The man who is always kind is soon taken for granted. The one who can shift from warmth to ice earns both loyalty and fear, and both are useful. Compassion must never come from impulse. It must come from intent. Before you offer help, ask yourself, does this serve my purpose? Will this act strengthen me or weaken me? There is nothing noble about depleting yourself for those who would not do the same for you. True wisdom lies in selective compassion, knowing when it benefits your influence and when it costs your power. Even mercy should be earned. The world respects fairness far more than blind forgiveness. Think of those who rise to power, the rulers, the tacticians, the leaders of men. They understand the psychology of compassion. They use it to inspire loyalty, to appear just, to win hearts, but they do not let it dictate their decisions. Their compassion is measured, timed and often rehearsed. When it brings them closer to their goal, they show it freely. When it threatens their stability, they conceal it entirely. To the outside world, they appear humane, but to themselves, they remain unbending. It is this duality that gives them strength, the ability to appear good without being governed by the need to be good. The challenge, of course, is internal. Because compassion feels right. It feels noble. It makes you believe you are doing the moral thing. But morality without strategy is self-destruction disguised as virtue. You must remember, not everyone deserves your empathy. Some will use it to manipulate you. They will play the victim, feed on your pity, and drain your focus while pretending to need saving. The wise learn to read between tears and words, to see intent behind emotion. Ask yourself, is this person suffering or performing? Are they seeking help or control? Compassion must always be filtered through judgment. Even in leadership, compassion must be balanced with authority. A leader who only wishes to be loved will be devoured by those he leads. A leader who shows no compassion will be hated and eventually isolated. But the leader who gives compassion strategically, who comforts when it strengthens loyalty and withholds it when it enforces respect, that leader endures. People follow strength they trust, not weakness they pity. Do not misunderstand. Compassion is not to be erased. It is to be refined. Use it to heal when healing maintains power. Use it to motivate when motivation serves your cause. Use it to inspire when inspiration keeps your people loyal. But never let it make you blind to deceit, manipulation, or hidden agendas. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is not to help, but to let others face the cost of their own choices. That is compassion with wisdom, mercy with intelligence. You must also understand the difference between image and essence. In the eyes of the world, appearing compassionate often brings more power than being compassionate. People are drawn to warmth. They respond to humanity. That image earns influence, trust, and opportunity. But behind that mask, your mind must remain untouched by sentiment. Feel, but do not fall. Listen, but do not absorb. Let empathy pass through you, not rule you. You can be gentle in appearance and ruthless in decision. That balance is what makes a strategist dangerous. The ability to smile while planning 10 moves ahead. Those who wear compassion like armor end up wounded, because armor is heavy and slows you down. Those who wear compassion like a mask, however, move freely. They decide when to reveal it and when to hide it. And when they remove it, no one sees it coming. That unpredictability keeps others guessing, unsure of your true heart, cautious around your intentions. The moment people know your heart completely, they know how to control you. So keep a part of it hidden, even when you seem open. Compassion is not the opposite of power. It is a tool of it. The trick is to decide when it is genuine and when it is a performance. The wise know how to blend the two seamlessly, to make others believe that their mercy is born from goodness, while in truth, it is born from calculation. That is how you protect yourself from exploitation, how you command loyalty without begging for it, and how you navigate a world that rewards appearance far more than authenticity.